the Madman!
Yo, new cards from Festival of Legends, and first let's get down with Infinitize the Maxitude. What a cool spell name, worthy of the mighty Millhouse Mana Storm, the legendary spell for Mage. 2 mana, discovery spell, finale, return this to your hand at end of turn. We've only seen literally the legendary from Mage, Millhouse, and this spell. And, you know, it's a legendary, so you don't get to put 2 of them in your deck. But this is the card that defines an archetype. It's a value mage. It's infinite value mage. It's not going to be easy to finale this card. You're probably going to be playing a control deck, an attrition deck, and you won't be able to just like perfectly spend your mana each turn. Seems very difficult, but you always have small levers to pull. You'll probably have a small 1 mana spell that's in your deck. You always have your hero power to go, -2 on mana if you need to. And at its best, Infinitize the Maxitude is 2 mana to draw 2 cards, and renewable resource. The second card to draw, of course, is itself, which is actually very good, because if you're going into the super late game, you want to draw a card that draws a card. Like, card draw is the best when you're running out of resources. And even better, this doesn't draw a card, discovers cards. So if you're going for this fatigue style of play, where you just keep answering your opponent and eventually they run out of stuff, like, that's my favorite way to play Hearthstone. And I'm feeling this control mage. Now, we don't know any of the other cards in mage. We only see these 2 legendary cards so far, but it's possible that the meta actually slows down and a value mage deck arises. And over in Demon Hunter, we can see an example of perhaps things slowing down. The legendary is Halveria Dark Raven. 4 mana 4/3 rush. After a friendly rush minion attacks, give your minions +1 attack. It's somewhat reminiscent of Rokara. It's a little bit less good than Rokara because it only buffs attack, so pretty easy to remove these things. Rush the Stage for 3 mana draws 2 rush minions. They cost 1 less, so that's like a 1 mana draw 2. Like, that's pretty sweet. You draw the good rush cards. Good rush cards. You got Snakebite, 2 mana 1/1 rush. Battlecry, give a +1, gain +1/+1 for each minion that died this turn. She's a Naga. You'd probably want to have at least 3 minions die for Snakebite to be good. And how are you going to get 3 minions to die and get a 2 mana 4/4 rush? Well, perhaps by playing Security, which for 2 mana you summon 2 1/1 Illidari with rush, with Outcast summon 1 more. A 1 mana discount on the upside compared to the 3 mana summon 3 1/1 Illidari with rush. So it seems pretty straightforward. All in all, even though these cards are all like good for the cost, I'm not entirely sure that it's coherent enough as a theme. Like, it's clearly some sort of mid-range good stuff deck, and maybe that actually is good enough, and I would be very happy if it was. It's the way that I like playing Paladin. And speaking of just generally good mid-range stuff, let's take a look at Paladin. First card that enters the spotlight is actually quite amazing. It's Spotlight, 2 mana tradable holy spell, converts a friendly divine shield into a 5/5 elemental. So the dream here, and there's 2 1-drops for this, the dream here is to lead off with a 1 mana 1/1 with divine shield, or the 1 mana 2/1 with divine shield. Now, also pretty interesting with Spotlight is it does work with the legendary spell. You get your Starlight Groove up, and as you get divine shields on your hero, you can actually spotlight that divine shield and summon a 5/5 elemental. And I believe you will regain your divine shield after playing your spotlight. So the spotlight works by removing divine shield from something and then summoning a 5/5. So turn 1, 2/1 divine shield, turn 2, 5/5. That's pretty cool. And when you can't do it, because it does require 2 cards combo, 1 with divine shield and spotlight, you can always trade spotlight away, so it's nice. I see this in some sort of tempo Paladin deck, obviously with a bunch of divine shields, and possibly it goes with these divine shield cards. The more aggressive version is going to run Funk Fin, the 3-mana 2/2 Murloc with Divine Shield, and your minions with Divine Shield have +2 attack. I'm a little bit terrified by this, because Buffett Biggin already does see play in the more guy-focused, tempo-y Silverhand Paladin decks, but it's got the intersection now between Guy synergy and Divine Shield synergy, and with Muster for Battle also being in the core set now, I can easily see Silverhand Paladin running Divine Shields and Guys, and that intersection being quite aggressive, and Buffett Biggin therefore being like the great intersector and just such a strong card. Jitterbug is perhaps more for the control style, but also could fit this tempo style. 4 mana 4/3 Beast with Divine Shield, and after a friendly character loses Divine Shield, draw a card. By itself, that is a 4 mana 4/3 draw a card because it's going to lose Divine Shield. This could even see play in a Control Paladin style, because you might see Starlight Groove played in a Control Paladin deck. So you'll play your Jitterbug, you're going to play your Holy Spell in order to gain Divine Shield, and perhaps you're going to swing with your weapon, lose Divine Shield, and Jitterbug will immediately draw a card. So Jitterbug will almost always draw at least 2 cards for its own Divine Shield, as well as when you lose Divine Shield. And if you cast another Holy Spell after you've attacked with a weapon, you'll gain Divine Shield again, and perhaps Jitterbug will enable when you lose Divine Shield again. So that's pretty nice, and it's always good to have a refill for the tempo decks. I could see a mid-range version, I could see a tempo version, I could even see like a late-game control version. All of these may use some of this Divine Shield package. Funkfin is more for the tempo-y side. So I think I've seen enough Festival of Legends cards to see that the power level is getting pulled back enough, so like we're going to be playing, and this is represented in the core set as well, we're going to be playing good cards that have medium synergy. The cards are like solid by themselves, and when they're used with other cards, like they make those other cards better, but not to like a ridiculous level. And I like it. So looking forward to seeing how this pans out.